My name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I am the host of the Coffee with Rhonda Show. I'm here with you today with some tips and takeaways from the Coffee with Rhonda Show. Our last show was filled with some amazing gems that many of us would love to be able to digest in a quicker format. So that's what we're here for you to do today. The show we're talking about today is why women do not take credit for their hard work, why they somehow believe that someone is going to just automatically give them credit. Or, as my guest on the show said, they're going to automatically get credit for those things. So, it is important for you going forward to know that it is your responsibility to, number one, take credit, and number two, to share the amazing work that you're doing and not wait and believe that your work will simply speak for itself.
Somehow we feel our good work is going to automatically speak for itself and automatically receive credit. Well, it doesn't work that way.
One of the key takeaways from the show was a quote that was shared by my guest, again, Dr. Paulette Dale. Dr. Dale said that truly successful individuals know what many others need to learn. That if you don't promote yourself, no one else will do it for you, right? That's Dr. Paulette Dale. The next thing that I want to share with you is it's so important to deal with your conditioning. The conditioning happens without us even thinking about it, but yet below the surface, there are these fears. If I share credit or if I take credit, then I will look like I'm bragging or I will look like I'm stirring the apple cart. And our co-host Roz had some things to share with us about that.
So a lot of times we could be ostracized or blackballed because we do brag or we do step forward, to take the lead on something or to say that I know how to do this instead of, maybe going through circumventing the idea through the boss. And then the boss takes it to the next level, and then it goes on up, and then the boss gets the credit, but the individual doesn't get the credit for it.
We absolutely have to deal with those fears. We have to understand them. They are, in fact, a part of our reality, but that doesn't mean that it should stop us from speaking up and taking ownership of the credit that we deserve. The next point I want to make here is the importance of using I statements. So many of us use the term we because we want to show that we're collaborative. We want to show that we are team players. However, when it is I, it is absolutely okay to say I. I will fess up here, this is one of my weaknesses, and that at times I will use we when it should be I, right? And that's perfectly okay. So think about it for yourself. Are you using I or we? Our co-host Marae had some thoughts to share about that during the show as well.
And even in the language already, men, when they achieve something, is I, and women, it's we. So there's already a big difference,
Right.
in the language. And I've seen women accomplishing amazing things. And I was actually doing that at the beginning. And not just waiting to be recognized and not speaking up, even when when it's time for promotion, they have all the evidence, but they don't speak up. They wait to be recognized, or they go behind. They have a man in front, and then they basically follow this man. And
the next point I want to highlight for you is I want you to absolutely flat out reject the notion that you either take credit or self-promote, or you're a team player, or you are supportive of others. That I want you to reject. Listen into how we talked about it on the show.
sometime.
I do think that there's this element that we believe that it's either or, right? And I don't know that that's true. I think it's both and, right?
Mhm.
So you can self-promote, you can take credit, you can initiate and support and lift others and do these things at the same time.
There's a really important point that Dr. Dale brought out, and that is when we are working remotely, it is very easy for our hard work to be overlooked. So, what do you do in that instance? Listen in as she shares a tip for those of us who have been working remotely and wanting to make sure that our ideas do not get overlooked.
That working remotely, regarding this promoting ourselves, this working remotely has definitely made it harder for peers to see all the work that we're doing. So that is a conundrum. And Tessa West wrote recently in the Harvard Business Review that don't wait until a performance review to talk about your successes. Send your manager or any team members weekly updates about your progress or things you're working on or things your team is working on via email. So by updating your team, other peers and decision makers, it assures that your hard work is not overlooked.
On the show, we also discussed ways that you can share reports with others as a way of taking credit and sharing your accomplishments with the rest of the team in a way that does not sound aggressive or braggadocious or anything like that. It simply is what it is. Take a listen.
So, for example, you might, this is assertive, this isn't arrogant. You're sending out a progress email. Team, I just completed drafting a new process for vendor feedback. If you have questions, I'll be happy to give you a preview. Let's discuss. Mm-hmm. So what you've done is you're showing what you're working on. You're highlighting your achievements. You're inviting feedback. There is nothing arrogant or brash about this.
I want to highlight for you something that's very important. You are not alone. You don't have to do this alone. Success leaves clues. And there are people out there who do nothing but help people exactly like you get stronger and more confident in using these self-promotion skills. So, as Marae said on the show, think about how a coach or a mentor could help you gain the confidence that you need to strengthen these skills.
And that's what I was saying. Coaching and mentoring is very important because we've been so conditioned and we only know one way. And as soon as we use it, we get a backlash and we're like, okay, we're not doing it anymore. And we'll just stay quiet. And that's not really what we want. So I'm really grateful that I'm aware of these techniques now. Right. I've been using some of them, but not consistently, and I think that's what I've actually feedback for the survey that it's that the techniques are there, but sometimes you're so conditioned that you forget to use them,
right.
and you're not consistent in using the techniques.
There was so much goodness in this show, and it was so rich. But Roz said something that I really think bears repeating, and that is, with change often comes discomfort. So I want to share Roz's perspective on the importance of this in terms of strengthening your ability to self-promote.
A lot of times we're conditioned to what's comfortable. We talk about how change is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so these techniques are wonderful because they don't make me feel uncomfortable. So now that when
you use them. Mm-hmm.
So now I can use them because now I have control. It empowers me. So the whole thing is now is that I have the power to where before I didn't have power. I want to make sure everybody understand that. So that power helps me change my mind.
Yes.
Change the way I move. And now I have control to where people don't have control over me.
This one can be tough. So what do you do when someone is stealing credit for your idea, or at the very least, not giving you credit and giving credit where credit is due? Well, Dr. Dale had some interesting techniques for us and ways that we could do this that are not aggressive, but they are assertive. And it does put the other person on notice that you notice what happened. So take a listen to this technique that she shares with us.
So, but don't suffer in silence. So speak up privately, all right? Or you could speak up publicly. Sally's up there talking about this great idea for new performance review procedures. So you might say, "Oh, Sally, those are great ideas. Thank you so much for highlighting my proposal that I put forth a couple of weeks ago." That is not aggressive. That is polite, respectful, assertive, and as the a doctor, I can't think of her name there, the woman you just saw on the tape said, you're telling these people we're watching you. Right?
So here's the bottom line. You deserve credit for all of your amazing, incredible hard work. However, it is also your responsibility to ensure that others know the work that you're doing. It does not, as Dr. Dale said, automatically happen. You be the one to share your accomplishments and share it in a way that is respectful and polite, but also assertive. We cannot sit by and watch and wait for others to just recognize us and give us the credit we deserve. History is riddled with women who did not get credit for incredible contributions to the world. Don't let that be you. Speak up. Don't suffer in silence, and take credit where credit is due. I hope you have got something out of this short summary. Don't forget, go back and watch the entire show. It was an amazing show, and it was so full of information. And then I'd love to hear your comments, so don't forget to drop those below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more information on leading above the grind. We've got this.